Good morning. The court is going to take up the next case on the court's docket. Cause number C210002 CPS. This is in the interest of Bradley Dwayne Adams, a child. The case is set for an initial primacy hearing today. The hearing is being conducted pursuant to emergency orders of the Texas Supreme Court via Zoom video conference. Participating in the hearing today on behalf of the department is caseworker Darcel Stewart, Supervisor Isabella Reyes, and Regional Attorney Deborah Keenum. The respondent mother, Christian Adams, I believe, is participating in the hearing today. The father of the child is Cody Adams, and I believe he is participating in the hearing today. The attorney and guardian ad litem for the the child is Emmett Fleming, and Mr. Fleming is participating in the hearing today. The current caregiver for the child, I believe, is Christy Harp, a maternal grandmother, and she is not participating in the hearing today. And the child
I'm here.
Oh, I'm sorry. She is here?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Christy Harp is here. Okay. I apologize. I made a mistake. I'm going to correct the record. Christian Adams, who is the mother of the child, is not present. She has been cited by publication through posting on February 5th, 2021. An attempt to personally serve her was made on January 19th, 2021. And I believe the department is continuing its efforts to try to get her personally served in the case. Mr. Adams, if I didn't know it earlier, was personally served January 28th, 2021. Mr. and Mrs. Adams have not filed any requests with the court for a court-appointed attorney, and no attorney purporting to represent them has entered an appearance in the case. All right, if we're ready to proceed, I'd ask, let's see, Ms. Stewart and Ms. Harp, if each of you could raise your right hands, please. Each of you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give today before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Ms. Keenum, if you're ready, thank you.
Stewart, will you please state your name for the record?
Darcel Stewart.
Let's begin with how the child is doing in his current placement.
Currently, Bradley's doing well. He is happy. He is safe in his current placement.
And how did he finish out his school year?
He did finish out the school year, and after speaking with Ms. Harp, he was promoted to the next level.
And is he up to date on all of his medical and dental?
Yes, ma'am. He is current on his medical and dental at this time.
Is he receiving counseling?
He is receiving counseling, and please, not anymore, Ms. Harp. Did they close him out?
He said it was not doing any good anymore, and he refuses to do it.
Okay.
And what is the permanency plan for this child?
As of right now, the permanency plan is going to be relative fictive kin adoption.
And have we begun working with Ms. Harp on the licensing process?
No, ma'am, not that I'm aware of, but we can get that started and in process.
And is Ms. Harp the intended adopter of the child, Ms. Bradley?
That is who the department would prefer for Bradley to go to and be adopted by.
As far as Ms. Adams, I think you've had one or two maybe phone visits with her during this last quarter. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
And she's refused to provide you an address?
She did provide 2 different addresses, so I did send a courtesy worker out to that residence. It was not, the first one was not correct. It was an abandoned home, but Miss Adams did clarify that one for us. So she gave us another address, but then she did cancel the day of the appointment, and then no one has been able to make contact with her since. I did also attempt to make contact with her for this court.
And your report shows that she's only had one visit with the child?
That I'm aware of, yes, ma'am.
And as far as you're aware at this time, she's not made any progress on her plan of service.
That is correct.
And as far as Mr. Adams, he has also not maintained contact with you.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
And you've had some sporadic contact with him. Explain to the court what that sporadic contact has been.
So I did speak with him and he did state, I guess he had some medical issues that he was getting addressed. And that's, the original reason they could not make contact with us. But now he was getting better and taking medications. And so he was ready to, work services and do what he needed to do for Bradley as well. But now I cannot make contact with him either.
And is he allegedly living with the mother?
Yes, ma'am.
So he's not provided an address either?
No, ma'am. When I did speak with them, they did say that they were still together and planned on staying together as a couple, which is okay. But that neither one of them have provided us a sufficient address.
And he has also not demonstrated any progress on his service plan?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
And he has had, it appeared, 2 visits very early on in this case and no visits subsequent.
Yes, ma'am.
So for both parents, in order for us to change the plan, they would need to engage with you and work all the services.
Yes, ma'am. They would need to make contact with the department, myself, the courtesy worker, the kinship worker, and from there start to work their services.
And certainly one of the main things would be addressing and dealing with the methamphetamine addiction that we're concerned about.
Yes, ma'am. That is correct. That's going to be a main focus.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Fleming, any questions?
Yes, please, Your Honor. Thank you. Ms. Stewart, we just had our permanency planning staffing meeting this morning. And I said to you that I was going to ask Judge Banks to please ask the parents for their current address and telephone number. Have you been able to get that as of the current time, the addresses and telephone numbers for Cody and Kristen Adams?
No, sir, I have not. I did try to make contact via phone this morning. I also sent a text message with no response.
And if Judge Banks asked the grandmother if she could provide at least the telephone number, if not the street address in Petersburg, Texas, would that be okay with you?
Yes, sir, that would be okay. I would still attempt contact and do the best I could. I mean, an address would be very helpful so that we could send someone from the department out. But if all I can get is a phone number, I will work with whatever is provided to me.
Thank you. And just one other question. The grandmother, maternal grandmother, I'm sorry, Ms.
Yes,
Harp, has informed me that the paternal grandmother is very ill, and she would like to have the department's permission to take Bradley over and have one visit at least with the paternal grandmother in Petersburg, which is apparently about 26 miles from the placement. Would that be okay with the department?
I haven't staffed with my supervisor yet, but I would assume as long as Miss Harp was there to supervise that visit, I don't think that would be an issue. But like I said, I haven't staffed that with my supervisor, but that's what I'm assuming at this moment.
Okay. Thank you very much, Your Honor. I don't have any further questions of this witness.
Thank you. Let's see. Ms. Kingdom, did you have any other questions for this witness or other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Fleming, any other witnesses or matters?
Judge, I don't really have a witness, but if Ms. Harp could give Darcel Stewart the telephone number for Kristen at least, I would appreciate it very much.
Well, I'll address that in a second. Ms. Stewart, the court file reflects that the department has requested The clerk issued new service of citation for Miss Adams at 1809 First Street in Petersburg. Is that the second address you were testifying to earlier?
Yes, sir, that's correct. That's the second address.
So you believe that may be where she's residing at this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Harp, anything you'd like the court to know about how the child's doing, or anything you need, and also any information you have on the whereabouts or contact information for the parents?
Well, the address that you gave is the address Jerry texted me, and I gave it to Will when I visited with him last week, and he's sent it on to Darcel. I think I might have too, but no, Bradley is doing good, other than his paternal grandmother is on hospice and dying of cancer. And so he is having nightmares about that, and nightmares about not getting to get back with his parents and things like that. And of course, nightmares that I'm going to die too. And then he's going to be sent to a foster home and never get to see his family again. And so he just needs reassurance that things are going to work out. And I know, oh my gosh, my thing's going off. Let me see if I can get that to quit. I apologize, sir, Your Honor. And I spoke with my daughter last night. She was supposed to be on this call, and I am not sure why she's not, but she has stated that she does want to do everything she can do. But other than that, you know, I've been reassuring Bradley that everything's going to work out. He does speak to his mother on the phone, and she's assuring him that she's going to do whatever it takes to get things right. So I'm not sure why she's not on the call.
Right. Do you have a phone number that you could make sure that you may have already given it to him, just so Mr. Fleming and Mr. have the number that you have as current. Do you have a current phone number for her?
Yes, I do. Let me see if I can close this out and you can still hear me, and I can pull it up.
Okay.
It is 806-778-2374.
Thank you for that. Mr. I'd ask you and Mr. Ray's, the staff, the issue about whether or not you improve Bradley having a visit with the paternal grandmother as soon as you can, just see if y'all can work something out on that. And then y'all may want to revisit with Ms. Harp and Bradley about counseling, given some of the anxieties and concerns he has. It sounds like I can understand he might not want to go to counseling, and maybe he shouldn't, but I think you need to visit again about that, and whether that might be helpful to him to address some of the anxieties he's feeling as he goes through this process. All right, thank you. The court will continue the department as temporary managing conservator of the child and continue the child in a current placement. Thank you, Ms. Harp, for everything you're doing as this case progresses. I'd encourage the department to continue to try to follow up and get Ms. Adams served with citation at that address. Hopefully that's where she's living now. The next hearing in the case right now is set on November 2nd, 2021 at 9:30. It's a permanency hearing and pretrial. The trial is set December 8, 2021 at 11 a.m. Ms. Harp, I know you probably have told the parents this, but you certainly need to make sure your daughter understands I'm required to notify a parent at this type of case, at this hearing, that because of the nature of these proceedings are parental custodial rights and duties to her, child may be subject to restriction or termination. One basis under which the department should it wish to do so, at the time of trial, to seek termination of her rights would be based on her failure to comply with her service plan. If she desires to work on her service plan, certainly would hope and encourage her to do so. But she needs to understand saying she's going to do it and is not the same as doing it. And if she fails to do that, that could be one basis under which her rights could be restricted or terminated. And if she's
Yes,
not
sir.
wanting that, she needs to understand that she needs to get with the department. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.